Day 6, lesson part 1, scatter plots. So let's talk about scatter plots. Um, the first thing is a scatter plot is basically a graph with x and y with a collection of points. Now, what you're trying to do is determine which direction are these points moving in. That's called an association. So for example, you see these points kind of, if you looked at it going from left to right, they seem to be moving upwards. So we would say that this has a positive association. Um, this doesn't seem to have a pattern. I guess you could say it goes up this way, but you can also argue that it's going down this way. So this would be no association. And then this one seems to be going downward. So we would say this has a negative association. All right. Now, another thing you can do to help you out with this is to draw the trend line. Now, the trend line is a line that you draw trying to go through the middle of the point. So we call it a trend line. And that'll tell you which way it's really going. If there is no association, there is no trend line. Okay. Now, what I want to show you is this. What if you have to make your own scatter plot? So let's say you have a collection of x and y points, all right? So you have 3, 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this one's pretty straightforward. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you're good with your x-axis. The problem here is the y-axis, because your smallest number is 56. Now you don't want to start from 0. So you can draw this kind of like a Z, like a break in the graph. And this will let the person know, whoever's reading your graph, you're going to jump from 0 to a next number. Okay, so in this case, I would, let's say, drop from 0 to 55. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to count 55 every single time. No, I'm just saying that for the first jump, it's going to be the biggest jump. After that, I'll keep it the same. 60, 65, 70, 75, 80. So I'm only showing that for the first jump from 0 to 55. The rest, these intervals, I keep the same. All right, so I plot these points. So let's say at 3 would be over here. I get 74. Oh no, I'm sorry, I already messed up. My bad. At 3 I get 64, so that would be over here. At 1 I get 74. At 4 I get 61. At 5 I get 58. At 7 I get 56. At 2 I get 66. And then at 9 I get 60. Okay, so I would have a scatter plot that looks like this, and I would say maybe something like this. My trend line, I would draw my trend line going like that. Because the idea of the trend line is that you have points above the line and you have points below the line. You can have points on the line, that's fine, but you want to try to split it up evenly. And that's what you're trying to figure out, is where this trend line would go. It should never be completely on top. It should never be completely on bottom. You're trying to go through the middle. Now, if it doesn't touch any points, that's fine. It does not have to touch any points. It can go through the middle of the points and not touch any point. That is fine. But I would say that this has a negative association. It looks like it's going downward. And that's basically how you interpret a scatter plot and how you make one.